Hello, back again. Has been a long time ago that I didn't make any video like this for you on the YouTube channel. You might think, hey, what is he doing? Is he sad at home or what's going on? No, it's actually the opposite. I'm very busy and I'm trying to do my best here. And meanwhile, we even launched Edgar's virtual violin making academy. Link is down below, and whenever you look inside you can cut a bargain getting the early bird price, but you have to be very quick and you have to trust, you know, it's not ready yet, but you can already start working at home following this. And immediately in the beginning of this academy even popped out, well, what model? And somehow in the beginning I told them they should make a Stradivari just like this or that. And now they're all, oh, where can I get this Stradivari model? But actually it's not that important. And so then slowly when I was thinking, hey Anna, when do you have time to make videos together? Because she's also super occupied with university, Switzerland, Milan, and whatever, and exams. She's doing really great, by the way. And so in our free time and while I'm working, I'm always thinking of what can I do now. And certainly we could talk about the sound post and things we talked already. And in these hundreds of videos you find it down below. If you search, you can really make up your mind and you understand how important is every single detail. So, one thing I never talked about it, and once you're out of this violin making world, or even if you play the violin and you love it, and you hear about talking this or that model, it seems a little bit that they're just talking about something, but you actually don't see a difference. And on the other side, people hear definitely the Guarneri sound, which is a little bit the rougher Tina Turner sound, while the beautiful Stradivari sound is like let's say the Whitney Houston, okay, in violin sound. Now, described for those who do not really understand this rough and this beauty. And we all actually want everything together in one mold, and then the musician should be able to make it. But certainly this is actually in violin tone the question, what do you want? And the difference of one model and the other one is now that I wanted to show you how much or how little the difference is. Because when I started making violins almost 40 years ago, and they were talking about all these different models, I just thought they're all the same, you know, how can they tell the difference? Now, I cannot teach you how to see the difference. That's something you have to do by yourself, and you have to little bit study books, and then sometimes make a guess, and maybe you're completely wrong, and then they tell you, this is a Guarneri, and then you look at that Guarneri and say, it looks like a Stradivari. Indeed, certain things have been developed by some makers over the years. Even Stradivari started from a model from Amati. Amati was the one of the very first ones. Now I don't even have an Amati model myself. Somewhere I have one, but I forgot now to choose it because I wanted to show you. Which is from the 15th, 16th century, one of the first makers, and very round and very lovely, okay, from its shape. And let's say the F holes are a little bit, in a language that you can understand it better, is a little bit like Walt Disney F holes. Just how you would design, a child would design an F hole, that's Amati, okay, very round and everything, and yeah, that's Amati. While Stradivari came out of the school from Amati, so in the beginning his instruments seemed to be Amati shape, and then slowly he developed his own style. And you know, the mouse goes where the cheese is, and even Stradivari at that time, same thing. Even he was a human being and wanted to have success, so he made what went better, right? So he changed his model to something which then turned out to be better sounding, very likely. Otherwise, you wouldn't say, why is somebody changing his model, right? These changes from an early Strat or an Amati to a late Stradivari, and we call it in violin making the golden period of Stradivari, right? It's the last 15, 20 years of his making. He became a very old and wise man in violin making, maybe also the rest, I guess. And that turned out to be something very good sounding at the very end in this golden period. And those Stradivarius are the most expensive ones, because that's even nowadays something we all want. So, what I just wanted to show you, I have now many pieces. Usually when I'm choosing wood, I'm not like on a table, you know, serious violin makers are always straight with the tie and on the desk. I'm going down on the floor, and when I choose wood, I'm just there because I cannot handle everything. So come down here. And I just wanted to show you what I have here. So here I have, just to show you, these are models with the outside of the edge. I usually, when I make a model, especially when I make a copy of an instrument, I make the entire model, okay? So now I just took out all those, like this one here is the Stradivari Hellier with the double purfling and this decoration around. I make the entire mold, and to make an entire mold, then I make the mold from the outside, which is actually more the French way, or some people say the mass production. It has nothing to do with mass production, what we're doing here right now. And on other instruments, if I would now make my own personal shaped, my personal design, then I just make 1/2 of it, okay? And then I just flip it over, and I have a symmetric instrument. When I make a copy, and that's what we are talking about here, about the different molds, then I think it's correct to make the entire instrument when we're talking about, let's say, the Guarneri Heifetz, that we just try to capture the entire mold. And these not symmetric things are the characteristics of that model, and that's why I do the entire mold, okay? And so the back is the top, and then this is the top side. And then actually, to be even more precise, I even have on the top side, for the top, the same thing again, because top and back are not equal, so just to capture exactly what I'm making, what I'm copying. Now, the key point is that, let's say we have here the Heifetz and the Ysaye, okay? And then we have even here the Guarneri, and this is the Olebol. Now you would say, how much is the difference between one and another? Now, if we take here the Heifetz and the Ysaye and we put them together, you can actually, now I need my glasses because even me, I don't see any too big differences. And then you can say, hey, this guy made the instrument actually on the same mold, you know? It's just the difference is so little. The width here, here, and here is actually the same. Incredible, okay? And it's just a little bit here on the corner. This is like 1.5 millimeters, this corner. And here's maybe 0.5 millimeter, yeah? And now I need to go to the camera and I have to show you how little is this difference. This is incredible between the Sainton and the Ysaye, okay? Between the Heifetz and the Ysaye, okay? Now, I come to you and I show you a little bit closer. Do you see a little bit of just, yeah? It's so little, and still when I make these two models, I could even, if you go on my website, you can see at the violin configurator that you can choose the model, and then I describe the sound of the Heifetz and I describe the sound of the Ysaye. And those who know these two instruments, they definitely hear a difference between these tiny differences of these two models. This is incredible. It's just, and it's so little, okay? Now, when we take now always the Heifetz compared to the Sainton, this is, by looking, it's always a Guarneri, but the difference is definitely bigger, okay? We can flip it over so then you see it a little bit better. Here there is especially in the upper area, close to the corners, there is a little bit a bigger difference. Yeah. And I'm trying to put them together. And even here, it's more that it's here a little bit more overlapping. Yeah. So seems like the Ysaye, the Heifetz has the corners a little bit more inside, even especially in these two areas, squeezed a little bit more inside compared to the Ole Bull, where the whole thing is a little bit more outside. Yeah, but still you can say this is a Guarneri. So that's just, and the Ole Bull from the sound is completely different, it's another world. Still has this rough Guarneri sound, but it's not so equilibrated and so a nice Guarneri like a Heifetz or a Ysaye, okay? Now you say, okay, this is just Guarneri, and we're talking about a little bit more than a millimeter in some areas, okay? Now let's see the whole thing. We take now this Heifetz Guarneri and we say this is our standard Guarneri, okay? Even the Ysaye is actually a very standard Guarneri. When we talk about Guarneri, this Heifetz and the Ysaye, maybe the Ysaye even more because of the F-holes, which are a little bit more recognizable. Now let's say the Stradivari Model, we take it as the most beautiful and classic Stradivari. Now we put this one here on top of it, and let's see what turns out here. Where are the differences? Oh la la. Oh, you can see there is a difference. And the difference, if I put two fingers here, and then you see the overlapping, underneath there is the Stradivari and in top is the Guarneri. So the Guarneri is actually smaller than the Stradivari, okay? Even in length a little bit, I believe. The Guarneri is a little bit smaller than the Stradivari. The Stradivari is a classic 35.5 or something like this, yeah? And the millimeters here, I would say that the Ysaye is a large model, and it's altogether, let's say, 4 to 5 millimeters larger, okay? And I can tell you already that the Ysaye is probably one of the largest Stradivari. But if you just line it up the middle to the middle, the difference between the Cs, if we talk about a C of the Stradivari is something where you could put in here a ping pong ball or something like this, and then you see the C of the Guarneri which goes a little bit down, and then we talk about these large Cs. This large thing, how much is it? I don't know. It's more, and it's not even millimeters, it's more only the corner is changing, yeah? But it's altogether very little the difference. So if you feel ashamed that you do not see the difference between one model and another, just train a little bit your eye and try to see if the C is open or if it's closed. That's a good point of view. Already with the F-holes, it's getting difficult on the Guarneris because the early Guarneris have a rather Stradivarian shaped F-hole, and it's not that easy, and even the F-holes of the Heifetz aren't that fancy, strange cartoon F-holes like you would say it should look like for a Guarneri. So this is just this one here. And if we have another Stradivari, let's say, what is this, the Chacon? This is the Chacon Stradivari, compared now to the Strat. Again, huge difference, okay? So the Chacon Stradivari has been, when it has been bought by the National Bank of Austria for Professor Rainer Küchel, who played the first violin, that was the best sounding Stradivari. And then after all, actually it turned out that it's actually a very difficult to play instrument. That here is a huge difference. But so let's take the Chacon now and we compare it with, where's the Heifetz Guarneri, and then we put it. So we say it's a classic Stradivari, 1725. It's a pretty classic golden period, right? And then you can tell that the difference, it is different. It's definitely different, okay? But what do we see? We see that the Guarneri is up here a little bit more. Its back side is the Guarneri, front here, this is the Stradivari. Stradivari is in the upper ear a little bit smaller. It's a little bit thicker, the Guarneri, and the Strat is a little bit like this. But after all, the tiny differences are actually really tiny. So it's not now which one is where and everything. This is now the Guarneri and the backside is the Strat. But it's so little after all. And that's the key point of this video. It's a tiny difference between Stradivari and Guarneri. For us in violin making, it's a huge difference. And it makes sound-wise as well a huge difference. It's like two characters, completely different sound, yeah, for us. And for you who are still there checking and don't understand, this tiny difference make a ton of difference. This is just for the violin. On the viola we certainly have the major difference is the length. And the shorter it becomes, we make it larger, and the differences are huge. Just a 40.5 centimeter viola compared to a huge one is certainly these fingers of difference. And the best measurement for a viola would be a 41.5 centimeter. But still, there's a huge difference because of the size. It's like a 3/4 to a full-size violin, more or less. Yeah? Very good. That's what I wanted to show you and what I wanted just to point out. All instruments, all violins should be more or less the same length, but it's about the shape itself and these tiny, for makers, huge difference which make a ton of difference. Okay? Hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.